Cop Car is a 2015 thriller directed by Jon Watts.
It's a story of two young boys, about 10 I think they are, who find a cop car. They're called Travis, who's played by James Freedson-Jackson, and Harrison, who's played by Hayes Welford. They've run away from home, and we were first seeing them, they're just wandering through some fields, just doing what young kids do, swearing and daring each other to do things. After a few minutes of following them, they come across a little wooded area, and there's a cop car there. So obviously, initially they're scared and they think, oh, let's run away in the opposite direction. But as young boys do, they encourage each other or dare each other to go and go closer, go and touch it, and then it escalates to going over to it, and then they find that the door's open, and then they find the keys, and it all just snowballs from there to the point where they then drive away in the car. They don't neither of them really know how to drive. I mean, obviously in America they all drive automatics. It's not terribly difficult. They know roughly what to do. Just put it in gear and off they go. Basically,
Yeah, they do it quite well. I have to say, for first timers.
Well, I don't. Like I say, it's not complicated. There's no gears. There's no clutch.
Their little feet can reach the pedals.
Well, so they drive off, and then we cut to earlier. And we see Kevin Bacon's cop drive up in this car. It's clear that he's up to no good. Gets out a big tarpaulin, or whatever you want to call it, and drags a body out of the boot and goes off to bury it. So, and then he comes back and the car's gone. So he was obviously a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of evidence of his wrongdoings in there, along with all his weapons and stuff like that. So, and it goes on from there. The sheriff is trying desperately to get his car back, so while the kids are just having a bit of fun.
It's interesting actually, because you pulled this out the other day and said let's do this one, and I had heard of it actually. It's one I'd seen. I think I'd read about it a while ago, well, a few years ago, and thought, it looks quite interesting. I love Kevin Bacon. He's always great. He always has a great screen presence, even in the phone adverts.
Yes. Well, I was concerned that was all I was going to think about, but it was so completely different in this that I quickly forgot about those adverts.
So that's why I was interested, and I thought, finally I get a chance to watch, because it's one of those films I may not have watched, and so now I had a chance to watch it, so I watched it, and I really enjoyed it actually. I thought it was I wasn't quite sure what to expect, and although it didn't quite go exactly where I thought it would go, I thought it was really well done. It's a really simple story, and there's not a huge amount of plot or backstory or anything like that. It's just this two kids out wandering. They've run away from home. They find this police car, drive off, and Kevin Bacon has to track them. I mean, that's basically it. And it's really simple. It's not very long. And all the cast put in great performances. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Relief.
Yes.
So, what's to say about it? I mean, I think one thing I really liked about it was the two kids at the beginning really reminded me of, when we were young, we went out and we did things stupid stuff, and it really reminded me of. So I had a friend when I was growing up, about that age, who lived near me, and we were just, because I lived out in the countryside, didn't have a lot to do. I had this friend who would always get me into, sticky situations, shall we say, and it really reminded me of this one time we went up to the local station, which by this point had shut. There were no train guards or anything like that anywhere, because they closed the station down, and there was scaffolding up around the station, and we kind of, we went up the scaffolding. Clearly we shouldn't have been up there. And then we started throwing like stones down at the ground, and then a train came in and was like, let's throw stones at the train. And then a guard got off the train, and we were like stuck up there, and we were like, oh shit, we should like stay here. And then my friend was like, no, let's chuck stones at the guard. And then he caught us, and it was that. That's what this and it reminded me of my childhood and just getting up to no good and playing around, and I think that it really it worked for that. When a film makes you kind of reminisce your own childhood, it works. I thought the two boys were really good. I'd never seen them before, and they worked well together.
Yeah, they just slot right into those roles with it. I guess they're almost playing themselves.
I suppose,
It's not hard for a 10-year-old kid to play a 10-year-old kid, but yeah, they really sell it. And I think right at the start, you completely buy into them daring to do stuff like go and touch the cop car and then run back and things like that. And as it sort of escalates more, and you're like, oh, don't do that. No, that's a really bad idea.
Yeah. And then so then in comes, it kind of suddenly changes, and you see this. So they've gone off, they're driving off across the countryside, and it cuts back to the spot that they've just taken the police car from, and this police car drives in, and at first you think
you're not sure whether
it's just after that, and then Kevin Bacon gets out, and you think, oh, okay, this has jumped back, because then he finds the beer bottle that was on the front of the car, which when they drove off, the beer bottle falls off, and then he finds it, and you're like, oh, okay, we've gone back, and this is why the police car is sitting there by itself, and then of course Kevin Bacon gets out and he does the body and all that kind of thing, like you said. It's Kevin Bacon's film, really. Yeah. The kids are there. They're the reason why he's out looking for his cop car. But I would say it's kind of feels like Kevin Bacon's film. And that's why I thought it was quite interesting, because it's not like a big, heavy action film. It's quite a small, independent film, and it's quite nice that he came along and did it. And he's as creepy, because Kevin Bacon's one of those actors that he does creepy really well.
He does.
He can do non-creepy. Normal as well.
Comedic.
He does comedy really well.
Back to like Tremors and things like that.
Yeah, he does. He's a really he can be a really nice guy, but he can be a really nice nasty piece of work at the same time. I mean, this kind of reminded me a little bit of like River Wild. He plays not a very nice person in that, although he starts off. You never know, and there's bits of that in here as well. There are moments where he's playing quite nice, but then it's quite nasty as well. And I have to say, the only thing. It's funny because I was kind of rooting for Kevin Bacon because I mean, so when he comes along and he pulls this body out of his trunk and then he dumps it in a hole, and then later on in the film there's another person that comes up that clearly is going to be his next victim, but I guess we never really find out who these people are that he's killed. I mean, yes, obviously the police shouldn't go around knocking people off and dumping them in holes, but there's a suggestion that they're not very nice people themselves.
No. But we do see things that suggest that Kevin Bacon is pretty.
Oh yeah, he's snorting coke.
Yeah, he's a corrupt cop.
Yeah, he's a corrupt cop basically. But I don't know. There was kind of a parts of it. I was kind of rooting for him. Weirdly,
it's strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's the way he plays it, but
because you want to see it unfold. You don't want to. There's a moment where. He's in plain clothes because obviously he doesn't have his cop clothes are gone in the car. So and he gets stopped by another cop. So you're like, oh no, how's he going to get out of this?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not. I think he plays it really well as well. He's kind of not quite as smart as he thinks he is, but he's quite sort of resourceful. To the point where he can get himself out of these situations.
Oh yeah, there's like a great moment where he basically shows how you can get the window down of a car if you don't have the keys.
Yes.
Just use your hands. I thought that was, oh really? Does that work? I don't know. But
I think the car has to be a certain age, doesn't it, for that to work?
Maybe.
And a bit worn out. But
worn out, exactly.
I'd never thought of trying that.
I
wouldn't try it. But
no, you shouldn't try it. No.
I don't think it would work on electric windows, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
No, probably not. No. But I think actually that's kind of what I like about it, because you're kind of left, without giving spoilers, you get to the end and you still don't really know.
No.
Where he came from. I mean, it's all kind of, the whole film's very present. There is no backstory.
No.
There is no kind of exposition or anything like that. No. It just feels, you've got these two kids, they find a cop car, Kevin Bacon comes in, and he's got this body, dumps it, and then he has to find it. And the whole film is just that. There's nothing else going on. And that's, I think, why I enjoyed it, because sometimes films, they feel like they need to explain everything, and there's no mystery. No. And mystery in cinema is a good thing, and I think that's definitely here. And I mean, there's not, like I said, because it's so simple, there's not a huge amount to say about it, I guess.
So like you, I hadn't seen it, and I picked it up the other day because I wanted to see it, and then when I was watching it, I realised that the director is the same guy who did Spider-Man: Homecoming. And obviously there's a new sequel coming out, Far From Home, which is also directed by him as well. Nice tie-in to that, which is just about to be released. Yeah, I mean that Marvel tend to do that. They pick these sort of indie directors, and because they bring a sort of a different kind of flavour to the films, I think. But no, this is really tightly directed, tightly written. You know, there's no fat to it. It's it is what it is, and it gets the story done, and there's no needless exposition or wasted scenes. Everything keeps moving forward, and he hasn't directed a lot. He's done, like I said, Cop Car and Clown, which is a horror film. I think the year before Cop Car, which. I haven't seen, and the 2 Spider-Man films. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks. Yeah, you were freaking out there.
Well, yeah, I can never tell.
He's gonna hate it. He's gonna hate it. Oh, you enjoyed it. That's a surprise. Turn up for the books. No, I did. No, I thought it was. I just enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was like blew me away or anything, but I think I enjoyed all the performances. I always love watching Kevin Bacon. He's he is a great. He's one of those, he's a great character actor, he's a great actor, he's done some really great films. Off the top of my head, I don't know, Kevin Bacon films.
Flatliners. Is he in that?
Yeah, Flatliners is a great one from the 90s. Kiefer Sutherland, of course. And,
Footloose.
Never saw that one. Planes, Trains and Automobiles is in the very beginning scene of that when Steve Martin's trying to get a taxi.
I'm trying to think of something more recent.
Stir of Echoes, which is kind of the Sixth Sense rip-off. Oh, Murder in the First, great film, Christian Slater and Gary Oldman, really good. He's really good in that. He's interesting. He turns up he never really hit massive Hollywood. He's always done a lot of kind of independent stuff, but a lot of very well known, maybe culty type films. Yeah, I've always really enjoyed him.
While we're talking about the cast, there's also Shea Wiggum in there. I won't say much about who he's playing because it's kind of spoilery, but yeah, he's really great in it. Again, I first sort of saw him in Boardwalk Empire. I mean, he must have done stuff before that, but he was really good in that.
Yeah, so no, I think it's one to. If you haven't seen it, then I recommend. If you've got 88 minutes to kill. Then I recommend you check this out. We have it. You said you picked it up on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I got it in the pound shop.
You bought it for £1?
Well, it was £2, so I should have had a word, shouldn't I?
You should have said.
It's not £1.
Exactly.
But I thought, I'm snapping that up because I'd wanted to see it for a while because it's not particularly old, it's not hard to find. Yeah, it's got a couple of features on it. I think it's got an extra featurette that isn't on the US disc. So, suck on that, USA.
Yeah.
So,
I guess that's what's kind of interesting to go back to Kevin Bacon and you say, obviously he did the O2 adverts over in this country. And,
actually.
There is, I suppose, you're talking about him doing the EE adverts and then kind of getting a bit typecast. And there was that slight concern that, he might just be like that. But he actually, I think he pulls it off, Unlike Jack Bauer, unlike Kiefer Sutherland, who is always now Jack Bauer. Yeah. I watched an advert for something else, some president thing he's doing.
Oh right, yeah.
It's just Jack Bauer now. poor bloke.
He should just be Jack Bauer because
he should.
24 was amazing.
Well, it was, but yeah. So that was Cop Car, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, let us know in the comments below.
Hit the subscribe button up there if you've enjoyed what you've watched, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. There's some other videos to check out over there. Come and find us on Twitter and Facebook, and join us next week for another one.